facing the same. Many of them are sleep deprived. They are not being able to meet their families. This has been quite challenging for them, as well as also they have been contracted with the disease and they are fighting. Despite being on the front line, they have come back and resumed their services. What do you have to say on that, Dr. Kapoor?
Well, of course, see, medical profession is a type of profession where anyway the occupational stress is pretty high because you are handling something very precious and it's human life. So stress tends to increase in times of uncertainty and when we are limited by our knowledge as well as limited by the infrastructural demands. So doctors per se in general, when the whole thing started and the lockdown started, we were the ones who were supposed to actually go to the hospital while others could stay back. So there was a fear. There was a fear relating to what will happen to our family. We have our parents and in-laws at home. So should we stay back at the hospital? What kind of measures we should use? So that did add a lot of stress. In fact, you heard news about resident doctors not being treated well at certain places, but then at certain other places, they were also hailed well and taken care of by the neighbors. So as a doctor, I must, convey this through your channel that we appreciate people who see us as people. We do have a problem when we are put on a very high pedestal because then our own needs take a back seat. In any case, it's as a doctor, your first priority is your patient. But if a doctor is not rested, if a doctor is not feeling, calm and secure and happy, the treatment that he or she can render to a patient would suffer. So it's important for the doctor also be in the right frame of mind to be able to help the patient adequately. And that's why it's important that, doctors as well as people around them are able to create an environment of trust.
And talk about how far have we come in these last 3 months, because it's been difficult for everyone. Nobody ever thought of this pandemic. The world infrastructure when it comes to medical care and facilities, even in developed nations, has taken a hit. How do you see as India's capability in the medical field?
See, as far as the way we are seeing the incidence of the illness as well as the morbidity and mortality associated with it, we have come to understand that yes, it is highly infectious, but the morbidity is low. And if we are able to protect ourselves and keep the viral load low, then in that case, we will be able to manage it pretty adequately. So there are two aspects to management to this problem. One is prevention. And for prevention, yes, social distancing, wearing masks, and sanitizing yourself is the main way to go. In 3 months, we have understood and we have been able to, figure out several ways of dealing with the situation. So, for example, keeping physical barriers is something that we are doing in the hospital. And when we keep these plexiglass barriers, the amount of viral load that comes across to the other person is reduced, so the infection chances are low. New treatments are being developed and trials are underway. So I think overall the confidence that we can handle it is good. And as a doctor, I would like to believe that I can help. And as a patient, I would like the patient to trust me that I can help. So if we have that trust factor, we can manage any situation. Unfortunately, the loss of trust that has happened lately in the medical profession is the cause of panic. And that panic sometimes worsens the situation that is completely unnecessary. So I think we should not panic. We should follow guidelines. And one important thing to the people around, see, don't go by everything that you read on social media. Many a times clients come to us with all the information they have gathered from the internet and ask questions, and it becomes very difficult because most of this information is unverified.
Absolutely.
And because it is unverified, we don't know what's really happening. So when we
panic
are
is worse if it plays on one's mind rather than the disease itself. But as the Prime Minister who said it yesterday itself, because it's been almost 3 months of the lockdown that we've been witnessing, and the virus is showing no sign of slowing down, doesn't mean that the threat is over. It continues, and one needs to keep all those precautions in mind. Thank you very much, Dr. Jyoti Kapoor, for joining us here, and happy National Doctors Day to you as well, and all to the medical fraternity who have been relentlessly contributing to the citizens in these challenges.